Welcome to Richard Suttmeyer's 4 in 4. 4 blips on my radar screen presented in 4 minutes or less. Today I discussed the de facto nationalization of Fannie and Freddie. My first blip explains that when U.S. government regulators open the liquidity spigot to a government-sponsored entity, they are guaranteeing that those entities are too important to fail. This is the case for Freddie and Fannie, given actions laid out by Treasury Secretary Paulson and by the Federal Reserve on Sunday. Sources say Paulson wants a checkbook with $15 billion to purchase equity-related instruments in Fannie and Freddie, given the need to do so. Sources also say that the line of credit combined will be raised to $300 billion. In my opinion, that's de facto nationalization. Bailing out Fannie and Freddie to save global investors in mortgages and debentures that bear their name is putting a stamp on these securities as backed by the full faith and credit of the United States. The rationale is that we have had no choice in doing this. There's $1.3 trillion of these securities spread around the world, with $375 billion owned by the Chinese government. My second blip observes some background for Fannie and Freddie. Fannie Mae was created in 1938 when millions of families could not become homeowners or risk losing their homes for lack of consistent supply of mortgage funds across America. Fannie Mae became a public entity in 1968 and its sibling Freddie Mac in 1970 as a public entity. Both have a line of credit to the U.S. Treasury at just $2.25 billion, which has never been tapped. At the time, Fannie only had $15 billion in outstanding debt. Now the total debt is about $800 billion. The equivalent line of credit today would be $120 billion. Fannie and Freddie Mac are in the business to fund mortgage market by guaranteeing to pay principal and interest to owners of mortgage-backed securities and debentures that bear their name. These securities are underwritten by investment banks that distribute them to investors around the world. The investment banks provide secondary markets in these securities, particularly those that have primary dealer status with the New York Federal Reserve open market trading desk. My third blip explains problems that have evolved with Fannie and Freddie. Most global investors assumed that Fannie and Freddie, with those lines of credit to the Treasury, that the principal and interest payments would not fail. They assumed a AAA rating, the same as a U.S. Treasury. There has never been a failure, and Paulson and Bernanke have decided that none will occur under their watch. That's de facto nationalization. When mortgages fail and foreclosures increase, the GSEs are not getting the principal and interest payments from community and regional banks that are servicing some of the mortgages that back Fannie and Freddie mortgage-backed securities. To bridge the deficit, Fannie and Freddie have programs to tap financial markets through debentures, which are priced off or higher than yield to comparable U.S. Treasury. The Treasury and Federal Reserve plans announced Sunday evening are designed to ensure that Fannie and Freddie can continue to raise cash at reasonable yield spreads comparable to U.S. Treasuries. My fourth blip looks at the Fed's part of the de facto nationalization of Fannie and Freddie. The Federal Reserve Bank of New York now has the authority to lend to Fannie and Freddie if necessary. Such lending would be at the 2.25% discount rate and can be collateralized by federal agency securities. In my judgment, Fannie and Freddie will refrain from the use of this option. If they do need to use this facility, it would be the event that signals further deterioration of these important GSEs. If you have any comments or questions, shoot me an email, gmcreports@aol.com. That's today's 4 in 4. Enjoy your day.